Hi, welcome back to another fun, eventful evening with Bob Fredrickson. I'm here to give you a persuasive speech today, and it will be incorporated on why a college degree is worth it. I know some of you out there have thought that it is, some of you thought that it isn't. At least everyone in this class knows that it's worth it. So I'm going to go through the basic steps on why it's important and how you can obtain a college degree the best way and the most efficient way. Stay tuned. It is the last week of class, as we all know, and most of us are really excited. Some of us might be graduating, like I am. Some of us have a couple classes left to go. But the big question is now, and as we thought back in high school, is what do we do after school? Back in high school, some of us had jobs. Some of us wanted to pursue those careers that were given to us and go down that pathway, whether it be helping out at a family-owned restaurant or business, or doing something on your own, starting your own company, starting your own business. Opportunities are always presented to us that we think in the beginning are great, but sometimes they're not always the best choice. Some of us thought though, hey, afterwards let's go to school. I want to pursue a career of higher learning because I want to become an accountant, I want to become a nurse, I want to become something that takes a higher level education. Some of us though, in high school, some people you may know, got picked up by professional sport teams, such as the Raiders or the Cubs for baseball. You might even play the Dodgers or the Angels, but that's okay. The point is, at the end of high school, we all don't know what we necessarily want to do. Some of us do, some of us don't. So we could look to higher education, in this case a college degree, whether it be an associate's or an undergrad, to sit there and help us figure out what we like. Some of us go through class without knowing what we will want to do in the future and find that one true passion we've always had. Some people say accounting is what they really want to do. I'm not one of those people. I'm much more in the business aspect, but not accounting. I'm much more finance. But like me, like many others, found out that during their college education experience, they found that one true passion thing that they have always wanted to do. They found it to be very easy. They found it to be very invigorating. Something like that is what a lot of us find. Some of us, though, prior to that, already know exactly what we're good at. We already know what we want to do. Whether it be working with people, sitting behind a desk and just looking at numbers all day. It can vary. So the very first step, though, you have to figure out what you want to do, which is very difficult. It might take a couple years to figure this out. But at the end of the day, if you know what you want to do, you're going to have a much easier time figuring out what you need to accomplish to get to that point. The second step in this whole process, after you've finally figured out what you want to do, you need to take a look at the field of expertise that you want to be in. Look at the career field, look at the industry that you'll be a part of. Some industries don't require a college education, such as a lot of customer service-based opportunities do not require a higher level, such as an associate's or an undergraduate. Some fields though, such as, again, accounting, business, science, engineering, and math particularly, require a higher level of education. Once you figure out which field you're in, it will give you a better idea of if you should go after a college degree. You will want to sit there and look at the field and then look at the advantages and disadvantages of going in. If you want to become an engineer, let's say for Mercedes-Benz or BMW, you will have to go attain at least an undergraduate degree in engineering, mathematics especially. My best friend now works for corporate at Dodge in Detroit, Michigan. He went to Cal State Fullerton as an undergrad for engineering. He's now working in R&D and production out there. It takes a lot of hard work, so you have to sit there and be willing to make the investment to go forward. But once you figure out that college is needed to attain that career level you wish to have, that should be the motivation behind you to go out and get it. Because if at the end of the day you get what you put into it. A lot of people sit there and argue that, especially in lower level fields, a college education is not required and not needed. It's much more about going out and paying a lot of money to get just a sheet of paper. But a lot of people sit there and view it a different way, especially I do. College degrees offer you the ability to learn skills and obtain new skills that you never had before, and it's about how you apply it. At the end of the day, if you can't apply what you've learned, you didn't learn it. And that's a big thing that you need to sit there and do while you decide to go through school, whether it be technical, undergrad, associate, and even higher levels of education such as an MBA or a master's or a doctorate. Whatever you put into it, that's what you'll get out of it. And at the end of the day, your grade really does reflect if you've learned it, because if you can't reproduce it or if you can't apply it to everyday life, you just really didn't pay attention. So again, figure out the industry that you're in, look at the job that you want to have within that field, and see if that field requires a higher level of education. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does, but that's something that you need to figure out. Second step in this whole process, after you finally figured out what you want to do, you need to take a look at the field of expertise that you want to be in. Look at the career field, look at the industry that you'll be a part of. Some industries don't require a college education, such as a lot of customer service-based opportunities do not require a higher level, such as an associate's or an undergraduate. Some fields though, such as, again, accounting, business, science, engineering, and math particularly, require a higher level of education. Once you figure out which field you're in, it will give you a better idea of if you should go after a college degree. You will want to sit there and look at the field and then look at the advantages and disadvantages of going in. If you want to become an engineer, let's say for Mercedes-Benz or BMW, you will have to go attain at least an undergraduate degree in engineering, mathematics especially. My best friend now works for corporate at Dodge in Detroit, Michigan. He went to Cal State Fullerton as an undergrad for engineering. He's now working in R&D and production out there. It takes a lot of hard work, so you have to sit there and be willing to make the investment to go forward. But once you figure out that college is needed to attain that career level you wish to have, that should be the motivation behind you to go out and get it. Because at the end of the day, you get what you put into it. A lot of people sit there and argue that, especially in lower level fields, a college education is not required and not needed. It's much more about going out and paying a lot of money to get just a sheet of paper. But a lot of people sit there and view it a different way, especially I do. College degrees offer you the ability to learn skills and obtain new skills that you never had before, and it's about how you apply it. At the end of the day, if you can't apply what you've learned, you didn't learn it. And that's a big thing that you need to sit there and do while you decide to go through school, whether it be technical, undergrad, associate, and even higher levels of education such as an MBA or a master's or a doctorate. Whatever you put into it, that's what you'll get out of it. And at the end of the day, your grade really does reflect if you've learned it, because if you can't reproduce it or if you can't apply it to everyday life, you just really didn't pay attention. So again, figure out the industry that you're in, look at the job that you want to have within that field, and see if that field requires a higher level of education. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does, but that's something that you need to figure out. The next step in figuring out this whole process is picking a school that works for you. Some people out there wish and desire to go to a school that is local, easy to go, and at the end of the day, it's not that expensive, which is key for all of us, to not spend too much. But again, you're going to get what you put into it. Some people, like myself, want to go to a school where the ranking is everything, but yet accessible. I chose Laverne because of high rankings, which to me correlates to a very good education. And at the end of the day, this is an online program, but I do live close to the satellite campus down here in Irvine. So at the end of the day, I can either do online, or if I need that one class, I can go in person, because that's the only place that it's offered. But picking a school is key, whether it be off of ranking to be valued that more, whether it be off price, and the most important thing that you need to look at is picking a school off the education you're going to get. If you're motivated like I am to go in and get one, you're going to go into a very high-ranked school with a great education. And you're going to learn a lot. And you want to apply that at the end of the day. But picking a school can be key, such as USC, UCLA, a lot of the big-time Southern California schools. You network. And within that network, you find a lot of new possibilities and opportunities that you never would have thought before. At the end of the day, your goals need to be to get a school that's going to open doors for you. But you have to be proactive. If you're not proactive, those schools will not give you the best of what it could have been. You'll sit there and cut back on your true potential, and you will always live in regret and wish that you would have done it differently. After you've picked your school, you need to sit there and decide what major you want to go after. In my case, I chose business because it's something that works with people and deals with numbers, and it's very analytical, something that I thrive in. You don't want to pick a major where there's no demand. And my big point for you is to sit there and find out a major that there's a big demand for, that people need, such as nursing. Teaching's a big one as well. Business never goes out of style, so does financing, accounting, it all works out. I would implore you to not go after a major that no one demands. I used to know somebody, or knew somebody, back a few years ago, that did their major in history. Now that's not bad, but at the end of the day, there is no demand for history. It's usually, correlates into something that, or contributes more into like writing or in teaching. She ended up having to go into teaching because she found out that a history degree was not going to give her the life that she wanted. And it goes back to my points from previous slides, where you get what you put into it. If you choose to sit there and go after a major that's easy, not going to require much out of you, that's what you're going to get at the end of the day. You're going to get a degree that was easy and didn't challenge you. So in the real world, you will never know how to adapt to those possible situations that you might impose on yourself. I'm not saying go through life, with the most difficult job ever, or the most difficult career, but choose something that's going to be in demand. I would push you to do sciences such as, biology, chemistry. Those are key degrees to have. You can go into the science field and help develop the new cancer drug, a new cure for that one disease that we don't know yet. You never know. But those jobs are always in high demand. So pick one that is always in high demand, and don't pick one that anyone can just do. Challenge yourself. At the end of the day, if you don't challenge yourself, you're not going to feel 100%, you're not going to feel great about yourself. You're going to sit there and feel, yeah, it's done. But now we still have more to do. And now you're going to find out that if you chose the easy path that first route, you get to your job, that next, the promotion you want requires you to have a higher education, which is different. Let's say you went in with a history degree. You got a job in business because that's all you could find. But that next job that you really want, because it has all the benefits that you need, it might require you to get an MBA. And now you're switching job fields, and you're going to be going into something that's much more difficult than you ever would imagine. So again, pick a major that is in demand. Pick something that you enjoy. That's the number one thing. If you enjoy a secondary degree, or you enjoy your minor, that's good. You gotta enjoy what you do. But make sure that you at least do a job, or a major where you can market yourself well, and it gives you the skills to be able to survive in the business world. Because at the end of the day, the business world is the biggest industry out there, and you would just have to change your specialty to that industry within business. Now, many of us, when we go into school, the biggest fear is worrying how we're going to pay it. Because I think it really comes down to money. Money can talk. And a lot of the education that you want to do is going to cost you a pretty penny. Take for example, if I was to go to an MBA program here in Southern California, whether it be Anderson or Marshall, that would be over 6 figures just to do the program, let alone all the extra cost. Especially if you're talking about undergraduate degrees, you can get, an undergraduate degree for a reasonable price depending on where you want. You can go through the Cal State program. You can go through, the UC program. You can go to a private institution like Laverne. But you have to make smart choices on how you're going to pay for it. Now, obviously, the best way to pay for it is cash up front. It's the cheapest, it's the easiest way. The only problem, though, is that most of us, if any of us, have that kind of cash just sitting around. I would love to sit there and say I have 5, 10, 20, 30 grand just laying around. Oh yeah, it's a drop in the bucket. I would love to say that. But a lot of us are working adults, and a lot of us do need that extra help. I would sit there and advise you to take advantage of federal loans. They're the cheapest loans out there, and they're probably the easiest to get. They have low APR rates, and they're not going to accrue too much interest. And they also have, subsidized and unsubsidized loans. Take out as many subsidized loans as you can get. Because at the end of the day, those subsidized loans will not accrue interest to you. The government pays the interest on those loans during the time that you're in college. And you start paying it within 6 months after you graduate. So it gives you a little bit of leeway and some wiggle room to sit there and, save up a little bit, get back on your feet after you've graduated, to start paying off your loans. Unsubsidized loans, though, those will accrue interest. So you want to be smart about it, because if you sit there and get too over the top and over your head, you might have really, really big loans at the end of the day. You also want to look into getting scholarships. Back when I was in high school, we got a nice big list of all the scholarships that came out. Go talk to your academic advisors. Go talk to the front office. See if they have a list like that. Whether you're going out of high school or into an MBA, or if you're just interested in knowing what scholarships are available, take advantage of those. It's free money at the end of the day. A lot of the times you don't have to pay it back, if ever. You shouldn't have to pay it back depending on the program. I was surprised to see when I was coming out of high school that they had a scholarship program for kids who were tall. Now, I didn't take advantage of this because I don't think I'm tall, but at 6'4", I'm fairly tall for my generation and in general. The requirement was to be 6'3" or above, but I just wasn't too motivated, because I was doing that cocky 18-year-old kid. I thought, oh no, it's not going to make much of a difference. It did at the end of the day. I believe they gave them 8-10 grand. I just didn't have the financial awareness as I do nowadays. I said, back that. So take advantage of subsidized loans if you can, unsubsidized if that's the only thing you can get, and really, really push to go out and find as many scholarships as you can. At the end of the day, if those 3 avenues don't work, you can always go to a local bank such as Credit Union, Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, so on, and you can get a school loan through them. Now the rates might be a little bit higher, but you could still sit there and pay for it that way, or get the funding for it. I would always advise that throughout your school years, I should try to sit there and be able to pay off some interest as I went out. If I had an extra $50 at the end of the month, an extra $60, I sit there and try to put it to school loans, because if you think about it this way, if I put $50 up front and pay it off over the period of time, let's say 5-6 years, there'll be a significantly less amount of money you owe due to interest and accumulation. $50, $60 in the beginning doesn't sound like much, but at the end of a 5-6 year period, it may equate to $200, $300, $400, $500 depending on the rates. That really gets me down to my last point. When going after a loan, go for the lowest rate possible. Now, sometimes it might offer you, lesser years, just like a car loan. Let's say you did a car loan. If you did it for 5 years, you get this one rate. If you get for 6 years, you get a different rate, 7, and so on and so forth. School loans, sometimes the same thing can happen. So you have to weigh the odds. Let's say one's a 7-year payback and one's a 10-year payback. But there might be a point to a point and a half, maybe 2-point difference. You have to sit there and take a look at the field. That's why it's very important in my earlier part to know the field you're going into and know the salary that you might make. Because if you know that, and you know that this is what I should be expecting to make when I graduate, so if I take out this loan and this is going to be a monthly payment for the next 10 years, that's doable, you're set. If the worst thing to do is to come out and have no idea how much money you took out and what it's going to be costing you, because that, unfortunately, they can take away everything from you if you don't pay it off. So I implore you to please take advantage of the scholarships and subsidized loans, and third, do unsubsidized loans through the feds because they are lower rates. And if that doesn't work out, go to a bank, get a friend, whoever you might know that would be willing to sit there and float you a loan. Because at the end of the day, financing is key, and it's a very important part to understand. Because when you graduate and want to start a family, or if you already have a family, as many of us know, finances can kill you. Finances are probably the number one biggest stress people worry about every single day. And it causes some people not to sleep sometimes. So at the end of the day, make sure that you know the finances and you know what you're getting yourself into. Because when you're done and you graduate, when you're paying it back, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing at heart that you're okay and everything's going to be fine. Now, many people ask me, Bob, what is a good thing and a bad thing about going to school? Because I've been doing this for, I hate to say it, 9 years now. I came out of high school at 18. I got a scholarship offer to Boise State University. I went there, and let's just say that I had a lot of fun. So I came home, after 3 years, I started from scratch again. Went back to my local JC, finished there, got 2 AAs, and then transferred to Laverne. I followed the process that I've laid out here so far, minus the beginning, but it's gotten me, to this week, my last week until I graduate, till I'm done. I'm 27 years old. It's never too late to graduate and to finish school. So for those of you who are older than I am and are almost ready to graduate, I want to congratulate you. But I really want to get into the pros and cons of pursuing an education, like so many people do. The school states that only 28% of the population has a college degree. Now, it doesn't sit there and say if it is total college graduates or if it's an undergraduate degree compared to an associate's. U.S. News and World Report puts that only 35% of the population of the U.S. have an associate's degree or higher. And only 28 to 29% of the population has an undergraduate degree or higher. So those of us in this class will be joining a very special and elite group of people. Very high thinkers, very well educated people. That's a big pro in my book. College education allows you to learn new skills and teaches you how to apply them to everyday life and everyday situations. Who would have thought that you can go to a class at a college campus, take accounting or financing or whatever you would like to do, be able to apply those skills that you learn in that class to everyday life. At the end of the day, once you've taken those classes, let's say accounting, banking and working with your bank makes so much more sense. It really opens up doors and opens your eyes to new methodologies of applying skills to new areas in your life. Some cons, though. The biggest con, as we talked about in my previous part, the finances. It's really, really expensive. And that's probably the biggest con of going to school. It costs a lot of money. After we get out of high school, which is covered by the state through taxes, we're now on our own. We're going to take out loans. We're going to sit there and pay a buttload of money. And that's why I urge you to sit there and to take it seriously. I didn't do that the first round, and it cost me dearly. I was fortunate enough, though, to have a job, be single, cut back a lot of all my expenses. I didn't go out for a good 2 years. I haven't been on a vacation for 5-6 years because of choices I've made. That's a con. But at the same time, it was a pro for me because I learned so much more than what a lot of other people learn. Another con, though, with school, especially if you're older, like me, or older than I am, it's going to take a lot of time out of your day. And it's not necessarily the easiest thing. So we're going to be putting in a lot of hours every week to sit there and learn, to do projects, homework, do the test, do this video. We're going to be taking a lot of time out of our week. So again, it's something you need to sit there and really think down deep inside you and figure out if it's something you want to do or if it's something you need to do. Another pro I could sit there and say is that the networking. You meet a lot of friends. I've kept in touch with a lot of people I knew up in Boise, and I'm still involved in their lives as much as I can be. And I still know what they're doing. You make friends for life. Again, with the skills you learn and the friends you make, I think it's worth it. On the flip side, though, you'll be spending a lot of time and spending a lot of money on this. So make sure it's something you want to do for yourself, or not just for yourself, for you and your family. Because at the end of the day, the biggest pro is it opens up opportunities for you. We have the opportunities we have because we fight for them, not because they're given to us. Nothing's given to you. We fight for everything. And in this instance, the opportunities that we have because of the college education is not because of somebody else. It's because of what you did at the end of the day. So I would push you guys to do that, to follow some of these steps, to get in, to make sure it's something you want to do. Because if it's something you want to do, you're going to have fun doing it. If it's something you have to do, you might sit there and hate it, go through, half-assing it. But at the end of the day, are you really going to learn anything? So take the pros and cons of this very seriously. It doesn't change, and that will hopefully allow you to make the best decision that's right for you. Some of us now are almost there towards graduation. We're a week away, less than a week away really, next Saturday, the 28th. And a lot of us are asking, well, what do we do now? We're done with school. Well, some of us might be taking a little break. I'm taking 5 days off because I haven't had a vacation in years. And this has been a nice long journey for me. And I need a little break. So I'll go out, take some time off, just relax, recuperate from all the effort I put in for the last 9 years really. Take a little break, and just relax. Some of us, though, don't have that kind of luxury. Some of us are, busy with work, life, and family. So we want to sit there and take this weekend, relax. Sit there and be, proud that we finally accomplished what we set out to do. But then go back to work or apply for that new job. We might be waiting for that new job opportunity, and this is that requirement that we need. Now we have it. Now we need to go out there and get it. So after graduation, really it's a time of celebration, not just for you, but for everyone around you, all those who supported you. I'm not saying go out and thank the bankers that gave you a loan. You can. But thank those who were there with you the entire trip. Family members, significant others. Thank yourself. At the end of the day, you're the one that put in all the work. You're the one that had to overcome adversity to sit there and be able to accomplish this, because many people, I should say, in the country do not have a college degree. And this is why it is considered, a big task. A big task that some people sit there and view it as the impossible dream. They dream of having it one day, but that's all it is. It's a dream. Well, we have sat there and proven that on this day, next Saturday, that we sat there, we had the support, and we accomplished it. We set our goal, our sights on something, and we did it. And that's what you need to sit there and do after graduation. Relax, congratulate yourself, and know that you will live life now with a better because you have the drive. This is why college degrees are so difficult. It's a whole process of learning on how life is going to be. When tough times happen, you gotta keep yourself up. You gotta keep pushing for that big goal. You know, in the end of the day, you're not known for what you say, you're known for what you do. Pete Rose is known for betting. He's not known for what he says. In baseball, he's known for what he did with the betting skill. And with all sport heroes, they'll be known as Jackie Robinson did something. First African American player to play in the pros. He did something, not from what he said, but from what he did. His actions always speak louder than words. So again, this weekend, for those of you who are graduating like I am, congratulate yourself. Take some time off if you can, and just know that you sat there, you accomplished what you set out to do, and you should be extremely proud of yourself. And most importantly, thank those around you, because people around you help push you and have made you a better person than what you are now. You know, a lot of us came into school not knowing who we were, but all of us are leaving school knowing who we are and what we're all capable of. So again, enjoy graduation, you know, enjoy your new career possibilities, and just enjoy life.